What's going on, guys, and welcome back. We have another spicy deck list. This is one that I actually really enjoyed last format, and we updated it for the current format. Mufasa decks got a 1-drop. That's actually really good for all of them, and it's in color, which means every Mufasa deck has a good 1-drop. Ruby already had Mulan, Injured Soldier, just as a card that you can heal to get your draws, yada, yada, yada. So what else are we playing in the deck? There's 11 uninkable cards. It's an expensive deck, though, between Daisy Duck, Rapunzel, Sad Beast. It's expensive, and I get it. But if you have these cards laying around somewhere for some reason and you want to play it, it is an incredibly fun deck to play. On one, outside of Daisy, I think it's a format where you really want to hit your 1-drop. So I do suggest playing at least 7 1-drop characters, unless you're playing a deck like item-based, stuff like that, Popsicle, where you're not playing characters on turn 1. But decks that are, I do think 7 is the low you should be at. I don't think we're in a format like last where 4 was acceptable. I think the format's too quick right now, at least for the start of it. I like Captain Hook because the challenger status. Another card I considered was Simba, just for that little draw to get through your deck faster, more consistency. I think between those two, you could also even throw Robin Hood in here instead, because we are playing big Robin Hood, and then it gives you that shift play line if you want. So between those three, I think that's where you should land on your other 1-drop, and they are all inkable. On 2, I got Argus. He's the quickest answer to Daisy Duck, because in Mufasa decks you want as little items as possible, or as little non-characters as possible, actions, items, locations, all that good stuff. And Argus is the quickest answer to Daisy. So he does die to her, but that's okay because he takes her out, and that's the important part. He has 4 strength, and that's why he's in there. He wants to kill stuff. He wants to step on it, stomp it, get rid of it. So we are playing Argus at 3. Mr. Smee, then, we're going to start getting into cards that are actually good to hit off of Mufasa because he has multiple lore, so that's always really good. Also being a card that self-damages, which means that your Julieta and Rapunzel can heal and draw cards off of him too, which just keeps him around even longer. 3 attack is also really strong, so I do like Smee quite a bit for his utility in the deck. Doc being another 4 of. When Doc quests, you get to play a card for cheaper. That's obviously good. We play a lot of high-cost cards, so Doc being able to play some cards cheaper is going to be a good thing. Julieta at 2 because she's a draw card, consistency card. Pongo also at 2 because he's a consistency card. So you pay 2 ink and reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a character card, it probably will be. Put it in your hand, otherwise put it on bottom of your deck. So kind of just splitting these two up. I didn't want to necessarily play 4 Julieta because then, if you don't have a damaged character, it doesn't do anything. I didn't want to play 4 Pongo because on that off chance that you don't hit a character, it just feels bad when you don't get a card and you paid 2 ink for it. Items are still very strong. We just saw in the video, or if you didn't, go check it out. Spreadsheet also linked down below. We had a breakdown of the 54 known tops so far this format, and Ruby Sapphire is the number 2 deck right now. So items are still really good. Benja Quest for 2. He's a pretty good card. On play, banish an item, and that does count playing it off of Mufasa too. So again, he's a multi-quester that has utility in the form of item removal. Pete, I think Pete's pretty strong. You could argue you don't need 4. I wanted 4 because I'll ink him early if I need to, but being able to protect your board from actions in that mid to late game is just really, really strong, especially in a character-focused deck. So I do really like Pete at 4. Like I said, if you see him right away and you have to, you can ink it because hopefully you'll draw into one later, or you just hold on to it if you can. 4 Rapunzel, card's just really, really strong. Her price is going insane. Steel Song isn't going to help that. This card's just going to keep going up. It's expensive. It might actually be the most expensive non-enchanted card currently, seeing Beast over here at 42. Mufasa's just good. Beast is just good. Consistency, draw, can potentially swing for 7, take out things like Castle. Really, really good. Steel, just the Steel lineup on the characters on the back end is insane. Beast is so good. Robin Hood is so good. Tinkerbell then and Simba both on play damage cards. That's why we're playing them off the Mufasa. If you hit one of these off Mufasa, you get to do something immediately. Kind of like Benja, you get to do something immediately on play. Rapunzel, Julieta, assuming you have another character that is damaged, all on play effects. So just maximizing our multi-questers and on play effects to help Mufasa hit harder and better. So some other cards, consistency cards we have are Invited to the Ball. So playing 2 of that, you reveal the top 2 cards of your deck and put the characters in your hand and the rest to the bottom of your deck. So it's kind of like Pongo, but for 2 cards, and it costs 1 less. I guess it costs the same. You just don't have the body on board to do it. So it's a turn 2 potential option. It's another consistency card. And then also 2 just in times, because outside of Tinkerbell and Simba, it lets you play any character in your deck for 3. So you can play your Rapunzel, your Mufasa, your Beast, or your Robin Hood for 3 ink instead. I do like it out quite a bit. And it would not be WheelFasa without the whole new world. Just playing the 3, just another consistency card, reloading your hand when you're getting down on resources to get all these power cards back in your hand, so you can just keep dropping heavy hitter, heavy hitter, heavy hitter until your opponent just eventually loses the game. So that's pretty much it. I think it actually is a really strong aggro match, just because you drop these really good characters and recursive and on-play characters and higher willpower characters. You have plenty of early answers too for like the bodyguards, like Smee will take out bodyguards, Argus takes out bodyguards, Pongo has 3 strength to take out bodyguards. So you have a lot of cards that can take out and threaten and get rid of the bodyguards immediately, so that you can take out the questers as well. That's another reason I like Captain Hook with the +2 challengers. He can take out most of the bodyguards that they're going to be playing in one swing. So I really think this deck fares good into aggro. I think it actually has sneaky good matchups across the board too. Pete obviously helping you out in that Steel Song matchup. You have your quite a bit of multi-questers like Smee, Doc, Benja, all, and then you start getting to your bigger cards that you can use into the item-based decks, into the Blurple type decks, and kind of get out aggressive on them early. And this deck has so many good cards, like good top decks too, because that's where you lose against the Sisu decks, against the Blurple decks, against these late game control decks. You lose because they simplify the game, they control the board, and they get you to a point where every card you play, they're answering you, or they're just playing a better card. This deck has a lot of really good late game cards that you can play, and the fact that Mufasa can replace itself immediately is really good. Something like Let It Go obviously is going to get around that, but you can't beat everything. Anyway, deck list is linked down below. That spreadsheet, the updated one, is also linked down below. Feel free to go check those both out. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.